Hey people, so today I'm going to do a quick video on a new addition to the shop. So right now I have this little Husky. I don't remember what size it is. Oh, 30, it says right there, 30 gallon. It does good work for blowing things off, maybe some air tools, some nailers. But since I'm going to be working on a Coke machine and an old cooler, I need something that gives me a lot more air for sandblasting and painting. So that's why I got this from Lowe's. It's a 60-gallon Dewalt, 220 volts. So, and I'm leaving it on the pallet because I can't get it off. They put the bolts that they have it mounted to the pallet. It's not a hex head bolt. It's a flat bolt with like the square insert to try to keep it from turning. But they put Loctite on the threads. So when I try to remove it, it just turns. I can't get it off. So maybe later I'll try to get it off the pallet, put it on some of those vibration cushions, and then mount it to the concrete. But as of right now, I can't get it off. So I took the cover off. I have it mounted to this outlet that's back here. That's an outlet that I installed. It's a 220 two-pole outlet. And what I did was, instead of getting wiring and a plug, is if you look, this is a twist lock. You just turn it to the left, and then you can go ahead and unplug it. And if you look at the outlet, I don't know if you can see it because there's no light, not enough light. But if you look at the outlet, it won't zoom in. It should give you some details about what kind of plug it is. Mine is a three-prong twist lock. I think it's an L6 outlet. So all I did is I went on Amazon and I did give me a 10-foot power cord with the three-prong twist lock L6 plug. And that's what I got. And that's what kind of plug this is. It just goes in, put it in, and then it twists and locks and holds it in place. Then I added some blade connectors to the end and a ground. The ground, which is the green wire, make sure that it has an eye connector on it, which is, like the round circle. I used a fork, but the eye, the ones that got the circle, would be a lot better because it'll go into the screw and it'll hold it better. And then you do the blade connectors on the white and the black, which are the two 120 poles. And then I have it around here, and I got it zip tied to the end because it's a pretty heavy cable. I don't want it to pull on it. And then this just goes back on. Just like that. Make sure it's down all the way and your connector is in place. I mean the switch. The switch actually goes into this little plastic piece right here. So just make sure it's in there good, and then you screw it on down, tighten it up. Now, one thing you need to check on, which I found on mine, was this connector was cross-threaded. I noticed it after I got everything in place that it was kind of at an angle up. And this thing wasn't bent or nothing, but it was cross-threaded. So I just loosened everything up, put some Teflon tape on it, and luckily it went right in. It didn't cross thread or tear up the threads, because this I think is aluminum, so it's a lot softer than the brass. But it went in, it tightened up, screwed all the way down, and then this compression fitting, flare fitting, tightened up okay. Then first thing, once everything's all in, once everything's in place, you open up the bottom. Under the bottom there's a drain plug. Open that up, just a little screw there. You just screw to the left, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Screw to the left to open it up, and then run the compressor with this open. The compressor shows up, it doesn't have any of these fittings. This is a 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch, and this is a male to male, so that you can put a shut off on it. But you want that open, and you want this valve open at the bottom, and then you go ahead and run it for 30 minutes. This is a break-in of the compressor to make sure everything's working okay. Watch your oil, make sure you know your oil's good, and then after 30 minutes you can shut it off. Then what I did was I went ahead and I installed this, and then I shut this valve off, close the drain valve at the bottom, screw it to the right and make sure it's all closed tight. Then I turn it on and I pressurized it up to 50 pounds, shut it off, and then listen for any leaks. Now I could take some soapy water and spray, but you get over 50 pounds, you should hear something. Especially in this right here, I wanted to make sure I didn't have any leaks. It was quiet, there wasn't any leaks up top, no leaks at the bottom, no leaks on the side. Everything was good. So now the tricky part comes, because nobody really tells you this, that even though this says 3/8, it's a 1/2 inch fitting. 3/8 is the inner diameter of what's the I guess the piping that goes through it. So it's like this right here is a 1/2 inch thread, 1/2 inch thread, but the opening inside is 3/8. So when you get your hose, that air hose has a connector on it that's 1/4 inch. So this 3/8, when you try to put a air hose to it, it doesn't work. This is too big for the air hose, unless you buy a 1/2 inch air hose. Most air hoses are 1/4 inch. So you'll have to get a reducer. Now, the rest of this video, I'm going to go over how I'm going to plumb this. I'm gonna give this a turn, and then put a 3/8 to 1/4 inch fitting on it, and then I'm going to run a hose to that wall, over to this wall, and then all the way over to where this old compressor is. And then I'm going to put a what do you call it? One of these things. It's the air regulator, and this is a oil tank for your air tools. Keep it full of oil, and it spits a little bit of oil out to keep your tools oiled. So that's the next part of the video, is getting that all taken care of. I kept looking at 3/8 to try to get this thing hooked up to run 3/8, not realizing it right here, not realizing that it's 1/4 inch for the air hose. So I have to reduce it to run it all the way around. What sucks is the air regulator and oil tank is 3/8. So I'm going to have to, I mean, I could maybe go buy a 1/2 inch hose and run 1/2 inch all the way around to the regulator, because it's really not a good idea to reduce from 3/8 or from 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch, and then reduce to 3/8, or reduce, Yeah, it's actually a 3/8 connector, and then reduce from 3/8 down to a 1/4 inch, run an air hose all the way around, and then go up to 3/8 for the regulator, and then back down to a 1/4 inch. That's not a good idea. So I think I might do 1/2 inch air hose all the way around for this little spot here. If I can, I'll look online, because if I can find like a 15-foot hose instead of 25-foot, I think that'll work. I'm gonna look into that. So I got it in place. What I did was I ran a 1/2 inch line. This way I wouldn't do any reduction here. Kind of ran it along the wall. Goes back behind all this junk. Put some wood on the wall, and then I put a regulator with an oil reservoir for tools with a quick disconnect here. And this is, it goes all the way here to a 1/2 inch and then reduces to 3/8 here. And right now I got the compressor charged. It's up to 150 psi there. And then I can go ahead and adjust this to, I'm probably going to be running this at around 90 psi. So about right there. And that's it. Pretty easy to set up. No real problems. The compressor was already configured for its peak PSI. It looks like 150 PSI. It says there 155, but it stops at about 150. It gets really hot. But I like it. It's going to be a lot better than my 30-gallon. And that way I'll have my little line right there where I can come off of it and do my sandblasting. Got any questions, hit me up. Like and subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later.